Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our council meeting, November 12th. And the day after Remembrance Day, I might add. And the city was really busy. Beautiful day yesterday, and well attended for the ceremony. And big congratulations to the Legion of Mount Pearl. Council, before you, the business of the day is in the agenda. I don't see anything outside the kit.
Have we begun, your worship?
Yes, we have. Actually, we just did a little double check. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, of the things I was saying. So I think that might have been the spooling out to YouTube, right? There's a little bit of a delay in case I make mistakes. No comments. Thank you. Deputy Mayor, thank you for moving the agenda and seconded by Councillor Fry. All in favor? Those opposed? And that's carried. We begin in recognition of the City of Mount Pearl's commitment to foster respectful and collaborative relationships with Indigenous peoples in the City of Mount Pearl and beyond, we hereby acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Beothuk and the Mi'kmaq. Mount Pearl and the broader metro region continues to be home to diverse Indigenous peoples, including First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. Now, folks, moving right along to the minutes of October 29th. Before I call for adoption, is there any errors or omissions, please? I think I'm going to call the question. Moved by Councillor Lane, second by Councillor Rice, that we adopt the minutes from the previous meeting. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Any business arising, Council? Please quote the item number in the action report or on the minutes. Okay. Hearing nothing, I'm going to go back to the agenda. If I can get my computer to work. And we have some presentations today, and we also have a letter from Municipal Affairs. But I'm pleased, Council, to welcome for a donation of the Haunting of Powers Pond net proceeds to the food banks here in the city of Mount Pearl. We're represented well by three food banks, the Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul, both at Mary Queen of the World and Our Lady Queen of Families. A big welcome to Linda Vincent, Sandra Milmore, Con Milmore, Bob Lovett. Would you guys come on up and we're going to have a little conversation? Linda Vincent. Yep. Yep. He's not coming up? Okay, that's fine. Listen, good to see you. And as always, thank you for all the good work you do within our community for all the folks in need, right? Just come on up. Yeah. And of course, we had some outstanding numbers from all of this. City staff, I want to say big congratulations for pulling all this together. At the end of the day, we've got $11,000 to provide to the food banks. That's coming from about $20,000 worth of donations. We had 28,000 people make their way through. And I must say, this idea, the genesis was primarily in the folks that work in our Recreation and Public Safety Department under Director Collins. They've done a great job 2 years in a row, and we had to change it up a little bit. And I do want to recognize the residents in Mount Pearl, those that are using the trails on a regular basis. They tend to be very habitual. And I want to thank them for their patience, not being able to use that section of the trail for about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And as the deputy mayor, or as Councillor Locke would say, it's a good thing we got 60 odd kilometers of trail in the city, right? So, but we appreciate the patience of our residents. It was outstanding. We're here today. And I'd like to know from you folks, Sandra, you're going to speak on behalf of the informal committee behind me, not only about the good work you do, but this is back-to-back donations for the food bank. I think Hockey with Heart was 2 weeks ago, and we've also got this today. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to you. And after you speak, perhaps we could have council if you want to join in, and then we'll do a check presentation.
Thank you, Your Worship. We're very grateful to the city for thinking of us during this haunted walk. Our volunteers went up, they had a grand time. I couldn't make it because the night I was going to go, it got rained out and we had a lot of rain. But anyways, we had a lot of people go through, a lot of nice comments. A lot of fun was had, even for our volunteers. So I want to thank them, the ones who went up and helped us out. It was really nice of them to do that, I must say. So we are very grateful for the money. And it was 3,900 and change for each group. We will put it to good use, I can guarantee you. Our numbers are increasingly going up. Bob has seen a big increase in his district for part of Mount Pearl. And we're seeing this increase, but not as much as Bob, because he seems to have a lot of big families coming his way. So we will definitely put the money to good use. Turkey seasons are upon us, and our numbers will be up. I'm up 20 already, and I just started. So we're doing our best to help the needy in our city, and we do take great pride in doing so. And thank you very much for the donation. We'll put it to good use, I promise. And thank you so much.
Very happy to work with you. I'm amazed at the generosity. I'm amazed at the generosity of people that showed up, but they also brought food.
They did.
And that was really nice as well, right? And I want to thank you folks for being there to collect that food and take care of business that week. Council, any comments from the floor? Councillor Locke.
Mayor, thank you. I just want to commend first of all, our staff. It was a great initiative and a lot of work, and the passion they showed getting ready for this, and then the long hours spent, making sure that everything was up to snuff. And you mentioned, the mayor, that we did close the trails down, and that was to ensure that we'd protect, our displays from any wind damage or any other potential damage that may occur. And also, you highlighted the generosity of the residents who went through. And I just want to commend our friends here from our food banks that do so much for the people in need in our community. And we say it often that Mount Pearl is a leader province-wide, and we're known right across this country, but not for our great recreational facilities that we do have, but it's for the sense of community that we have in the city of Mount Pearl. And it's folks like you that carry this tradition on. It's so nice to see all the young folk out that are also volunteering with the Hockey for Heart, for example. And the mayor mentioned at the Remembrance Day Assembly. So the tradition seems to be passing on to our newer generations, which is so important in this world, which is being overtaken by the me mentality. But I like to think that we still have the we mentality here in the city of Mount Pearl. So I thank you for all you do. And I thank our staff for the great work that they have done. So if Director Collins certainly would pass it on to all involved. And it's not just a recreation, community safety staff. It was a team right across the board. So once again, they have made the city of Mount Pearl very proud. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Over to you, Councillor Antle.
Worship, thank you very much. And I did everything that you just said, Jim. But it's really great to see when you see Sandra and Linda and, Bob and Con. They're always involved. Our food banks are certainly well represented. Without you guys, I don't know if the food banks would be as successful. And like you say, Sandra, it's always your passion. Just a couple of weeks ago, you just mentioned the Hockey with Heart. We just did the Old Friends dance, and we did $5,000 there. Mount Pearl is alive and well. I mean, they certainly support our food banks. And there's no doubt because of your support to your leadership. I mean, we all wait for Linda to call us for our Christmas carol. And I say, Linda, she's like a star. So, yes, she is. So, but anything else, I mean, Mount Pearl certainly supports the food banks. And thank you guys for everything you do. Thank you.
I got Councillor Fry in the queue next. Go ahead, Councillor Fry.
Thank you. I'm not going to repeat everything that my colleagues said, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the fine folks of the food banks, because this is such a good project. It's something that our community got rallied behind, and it was a benefit to everyone. And there's no surprise that there's such a significant contribution to our food banks here this time, because in Mount Pearl, we do have the community spirit and we do take care of each other. And on that note, I just want to say, for anybody who may be watching, there is no shame if you need to please reach out and contact the food bank. That's what it's there for, and everybody needs some help from time to time. And you know what, it's hard to do. I know it's hard to make the first phone call, but if you need it, that's what it's there for. So please, no shame, just reach out, and these lovely people are just more than happy to help. And that's what we do. That's what we're all about. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to this.
Thank you very much. Councillor Rice.
Yeah, like me, I'm just going to add, to what the rest of my colleagues, councillors has mentioned, the good work that happens in Mount Pearl, it doesn't go unnoticed. When, we try to, every time we go to an event, we try to bring what we can and help out any way we can. And, one thing about the city of Mount Pearl, that you see so many people dropping off items, and you see the same people dropping it off over and over and over. But, I just want to add with because I go get groceries and stuff, and I can see such an increase in price of groceries in the last couple of years. And people that are on a fixed income and low income and stuff like that, even people who are making a half decent salary are finding it harder to live now, and raise a family. So, and like Councillor Fry mentioned, if you need to go to the food bank, don't be ashamed to go and help wherever you can. And if you can help with a bit of extra groceries along the way, if you're at that point in your life where, you have a few extra bucks or a few extra groceries, we certainly appreciate you dropping it off. So thanks again for coming in, and we appreciate all the work that you guys and girls do.
Councillor Lane, please.
So thank you guys for all that you do. You're truly making an impact in the community. But I actually had a question for you guys. So besides monetary donations, is there anything in particular that is sought after this time of year for people who utilize the food banks? Like, is there anything particular that they're looking for? Yeah.
There's cereals a big thing. Pasta we get a lot of, but craft dinner, anything non-perishable, and we put it to good use. And like sugar, tea bags, that stuff is not always given. That's a bit more expensive. And coffee, not so expensive too. But we do our best. We do provide, like our food bank is our full chickens, and we try to get vegetables when we can. And we have a very generous donor who, when they have it, we have fresh produce. So that helps us out a lot. But anything and everything we will, food-wise, we use. So not a problem. Anyone wants to drop anything off, bring it on. We'll take it.
Okay. There's all these things they mentioned, but you're the most versatile thing you can give? Currency. We can get more for currency than you'll get, because we'll buy it when it's on special. I'll go out and buy 15 or 16 tins of some specific item, shall we say, for what you'll pay for a dozen. And when you're using 1,500 a year, that extra one makes a difference. And if you multiply that by everything we give out, it's quite a difference. You know what I mean? You put 20% free, You walk into a clothing store and you see something 20% off, you want to try it on. You know what I mean? But if you get it, that kind of a way, I saw a woman one time come over the church, and she donated a dozen bottles of peanut butter. I said to her, we could give you a receipt for that if you had to have a bill for it. And probably if you gave me the money, I'd probably get 15 for what you just paid for a dozen.
Well, you came to the right place tonight.
You know what I mean?
That's perfect, right? Yes.
That's the reality of, we got a storage area for food, and that's the reason we got it. So we can buy stuff on special. Some of the supermarkets around here are more than willing to help us out any way they can. If they tell me, Bob, if we can get it in, you can have it. So.
Thank you. Well, Deputy Mayor Kiley, I think, wants to speak as well.
Love this conversation that's happening. And Councillor Lane, actually, that was my question I had too. What's the need? But Bob, I love your idea about monetary donations, that recognizing as a charitable organization, as a business in Mount Pearl or any business surrounding, just imagine that, a monthly giving plan where you can get a receipt and you're going directly to food security, and food security is everything. We've been talking about this in all sorts of ways, but the cost of food, I mean, that where we are on the poverty line, it is impacting more and more and more people, members of this community and everywhere else. So I think it's a great idea. And I just wanted to make that note. I know we're going into turkey season and there's going to be a lot of significant need, and we want to make sure everybody is taken care of during the holidays. But I always like to say to everybody, especially for the organizations such as yourselves that are doing such the hard work, and you're seeing people throughout the year kind of suffering from this, is that outside of what is going to be November, December, think of January, think of February. That's when bills come in for families. That's when you see the cost of heating go up. And just think of food security throughout the entire year. And I love the idea of a cash donation. Doesn't matter what I got in my cupboard, I always have a bit of, cash on me. And for anyone that's checks charitable receipt, we're going into tax season, not a bad idea. So great conversation. Really love the points of all of our counselors, and I'm happy we made this donation for you today.
Well, the moment is here. Let's get a picture. We have a check, and we'll go from there. So I think Ms. Hodder has the haunted check. All right, here we go. We're gonna, I just want to make note of the correspondence there that the municipal election in 2025 has been moved ahead by 2 days to the 2nd of October on account of the fact that September 30th, where it would normally fall, is National Indigenous Reconciliation Day. So you see that for your perusal, council, and yeah, next year's election year. I might note too, the Canettes have a turkey drive coming up as well. So if you want to find a way of getting a turkey in the hands of those in need, the Connect Club of Mount Pearl. See you at the grocery stores. We're going to go to recreation and community safety, and I understand Councillor Locke is leading.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'll take the first two and then I'll turn it over to Councillor Fry. Our first item here has to do with the dreaded snow clearing regulations, but the time is nigh. It's about our winter parking ban on city streets and city-owned land. And just a reminder to our residents that an unintended vehicle is not permitted to be parked on any of our city streets or our city-owned land between the hours of 1 a.m. and 8 a.m. And also the same time during a storm episode, or we ask that you keep the vehicles off the road. Help me out, Mr. Dollamont, up to 6 hours 12 hours once the snow ends, and that allows our city crews to take care of that. And if you want any further information regarding the fine amounts, you can certainly visit our city website. The second one for us is a better news story, and that has to do with our Mount Pearl Lions Club Santa Claus Parade. We look forward to this in our household. This is the start of our Christmas. Once we go to the Santa Claus Parade, then we set up our tree. So this is the kickoff. So my grandchildren are super excited about this, and a huge, huge appreciation to our Lions Club, who once again have stepped up to coordinate our parade again. Just a reminder again, it's Saturday, December the 7th, and it will start at 10 a.m. And if you want any further details, you can visit our city's website, or you can reach out and contact the Lions Club at 368-6186. And that's it for my part. Mayor, I'll turn now over to Councillor Fry. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Locke. Further to that, I know it's not in our notes, but I just wanted to bring attention that there is a sensory-free zone during the parade, and that takes place around Park Place, and I think that's important just to make note of as well. The final item on our agenda is the All in Bright St. David's Park, which takes place on the same day as the parade. So it'll be that evening, Saturday, December the 7th. So the annual lighting of the park will take place Saturday, December 7th at 6 p.m. at St. David's Park, which will include the singing of our favorite Christmas carols and performances by school choirs. Hot chocolate will be served by the Salvation Army, and further details will be available on our city's website. And this is always just such a magical community event. So I encourage everybody to come out and take part. And Christmas is almost here, and it's going to be here before we know it. And that's it for us, Your Worship. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Lots going on in the community. Corporate Services and Public Works Report. Councillor Lane.
Thank you. I'll take the first couple and then I'll pass it over to my colleague, Councillor Rice. So the first item is the invoices for approval. The committee recommends that the following invoices totaling $279,021.71 be approved for payment. Council, as you can see below in your kits, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Lane, seconded by Councillor Rice. Thank you all. Any questions, Council? I'll call the question. All in favor? Contraminded? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, the second item on our agenda is the payment register and purchase card report. For the information of council, the following payment register for October 23rd to November 6th, 2024 total $1,804,140.75. And the purchase card report for August 26th to September 25th, 2024 totaled $366,756.11. And that was for information purposes only. And I will hand it over to my colleague, Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Number 3 in our kit tonight is a travel request for our Deputy Mayor, Mayor Kiley. For 2024, to attend the 2024 MNL conference in Gander from November the 7th to 9th, 2024. So it is recommended that the travel request for Deputy Mayor Kiley to attend the municipality's Newfoundland Labrador MNL conference in Gander, NL, from November the 7th to November the 9th, 2024 be approved. Further to the minute 24-07-350, registration for Mayor Akers attendance will be transferred to Deputy Mayor Kiley to attend in his absence. I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Rice, seconded by Councillor Lane. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Number 4 is our travel request for Councillor Lane to attend the 2024 MNL conference in Gander from November the 7th to November the 9th, 2024. So recommendation from the committee is recommended that the travel request for Councillor Lane to attend the municipality's Newfoundland Labrador MNL conference in Gander, NL, from November the 7th to November the 9th, 2024 be approved. And I so move.
Moved again by Councillor Rice, seconded by Councillor Lane. All in favor? And those opposed? That's carried as well. Thank you.
And the last item on our agenda tonight is for information purposes only. Under our Public Works Status Report, the following status report is provided for information purposes only. Under our road divisions, work continues on our asphalt repairs as long as the asphalt plants stay open. Our street sweeping ongoing. Our maintenance holes and catch basin repairs are ongoing. Under our Parks Division, works continues on our St. David's Park Christmas tree lighting. We're in the process of putting the lights up there now. Our work is continuing on our Christmas parade float for the Santa Claus Parade for December the 7th. Under our Fleet Division, service and maintenance is continuing. Under our winter equipment maintenance is ongoing for the winter season. Under our UTM Division, general calls for our water and sewer repairs. Our leak detection is ongoing. And our water levels, I want to comment actually on the water levels at Bay Bulls Big Pond for as of November the 4th, 2024. Right now, the levels are going upward, trending upward. Compared to back in 2009 and 2022, I just want to, I guess, contribute the hard work of our UTM division for our leak detection system. And right now, it's maintaining a 33 feet level at Bay Bulls Big Pond. So that's certainly a contribution to the hard work that city UTM department does in the city with our leak detection program. So thank you. That's our report, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Moving to planning, engineering, and development. I think the starter is Councillor Randall.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have the first three, and then I'll pass on to the Deputy Mayor. And number one is it's regarding your proposed group childcare. It's on 29 Lancaster Crescent. The committee was advised the city is in receipt of a discretionary use application proposing to operate a group childcare at 29 Lancaster Crescent. The applicant proposes utilizing a portion of the dwelling to provide childcare services. The proposed hours are Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be visitors to the home twice per day for drop-off and pick-up of children. The Planning Division has processed this discretionary use application for group childcare use at 29 Lancaster as per Section 417 of the Mount Pearl Development Regulations 2010. The Planning, Engineering and Development Committee recommends approval of this discretionary use application and that a development permit be issued, subject to Section 716 group childcare use in the Mount Pearl Development Regulations 2010, and subject to any regulatory conditions as set up by the Department of Planning, Engineering and Development. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle, seconded by Deputy Mayor Kiley. Anybody want to speak to it? This is good news, I think, especially for young families. I'll call a question. All in favor? Those opposed? Carried, thanks.
And number two, now we got to pay some money. Carroll Drive transfer of funds. Committee was advised that the work on Carroll Drive is nearing completion and the job well done. Engineering staff know that the transfer an amount of $64,419.41, HST included, is required from the approved cash allowance to the multi-street contingency fund. This transfer will allow the cash allowance to be used for unplanned but necessary work that is within the approved scope of work and budget. The Planning, Engineering and Development Committee recommends that funds be transferred from the cash allowance into the multi-street contingency fund in the amount of $64,419.41, HST included, to facilitate completion of work on Carroll Drive. And I so move.
Again, it is moved by Councillor Antle, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Bit of housekeeping. I think this is all that's going on here, folks, and it's more for the accountants and the family. Any questions? Hearing none. I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Carried.
And number three is regarding our public commissioners as expression of interest. The city maintains a list of active commissioners for public hearings. Pursuant to the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Section 19, City of Mount Pearl is required to appoint commissioners for the holding of public hearings as part of the process for amendments to the Mount Pearl Municipal Plan. A recent review of the list determined that many of our 5-year term appointments for commissioners had expired or were about to expire. Staff issued an expression of interest for individuals interested in serving as public commissioners in August, with a closing date of September 30th, 2024. The Planning, Engineering and Development Committee recommends the Council approve the offering of a renewal of a 5-year term appointment to the following commissioners: Ernest Boone, Sean Montague, and George Trainer. These are commissioners we had before and are highly recommended, and I so move.
Thank you. Councillor Antle has moved it, second by Deputy Mayor Kiley. And we're going to keep these people busy, I suspect, in the coming weeks and months. And with the new municipal plan in the offing, these folks will always carry us through in the meantime. Any questions, folks? Any comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And opposed? Carried.
And now I'll pass it over to our Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Ansel. I'm just taking myself off mute. Okay, and getting back to the agenda. So I'm continuing on, of course, with our committee with item number 4, which is the building and occupancy permit listing, and that covers October 7th right up till October 18th, 2024. So the Planning, Engineering, and Development Committee recommends that the residential and commercial building permits issued for this period, showing a total construction value of $4,468,300, excuse me, be approved, and further that the occupancy permit list be accepted as presented. And just to reference there in our kits, we have the building permits and occupancy permit list. And I so move.
Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kiley, seconded by Councillor Rantoul, noting it's per item number 71, 72, 73, 74 in the occupancy permits, residential construction as well. It's been a busy few weeks. Any questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that's also carried and adopted. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. And certainly it's been a busy season for sure. And in addition to that, that leads us to the development permit listing between October 7th to October 18th, 2024. And the Planning and Engineering Development Committee recommends that the development permits issued for this period be accepted as presented. And again, there's 2 items there in our kits that identifies those listings, and I so move.
Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kiley, seconded by Councillor Randall. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried as well. Back to you.
That leaves us with our final item, and that is a capital projects update. I'm just going to review some of the updates, and we're going to start with the multi-streets projects within Mount Pearl. Carroll Drive, 95% complete right now, and deficiencies are remaining. Regarding Farrell Drive, those are right now 95% complete with deficiencies remaining. And certainly there has been discussion around that, and we certainly offer our thanks for the patience around these larger and longer term project updates or projects that are necessary. We also have Birch Avenue, which is complete. There is some property reinstatement remaining, and that's ongoing. And finally, Spruce Avenue, Billard Avenue, and Roosevelt Avenue are all complete. Addition, we just want to note that Olympic Drive is a 95% complete, and again, with some deficiencies remaining, which we're working through. And also want to offer a Kenmount Hill upgrades update. So that includes a Farrell Drive, Topsail to Evans, and the design is ongoing for that, and the tender will be out in the fall of 2020, has been out for the fall of 2024. We also have B, the Farrell Drive pump house upgrades, and the design is ongoing as well, and the tender will be in spring of 2025. We also have C, Wyatt Boulevard Linear, which is the design right now is almost complete, and the tender will be out for winter 2025. That leads us to D1, 2 parts of the water tower. The first water tower is the design is ongoing with the tender in winter 2025. And then we have D2, which is the water tower road, and Tavner, which is the design is right now ongoing. And the tender is going to be out for spring 2025. And that leads us to E, sewage lift station, which the design is ongoing, and the tender is within winter, spring 2025. And that final one with regards to our Kenmount Hill upgrades is Holden Street upgrades, which the design has started and the tender will be out 2025. Then moving on to the Jackman Drive upgrades, the RFP has been issued for 2024 for the design, and in winter and summer 2025, there will be another tender for late spring 2025. Also, just noting the 2024 asphalt and concrete services has been complete for this season. And that leaves us also with the 2024 line painting, which is also complete for this year. And it's been an incredibly busy time for a lot of these capital project updates. And I certainly give credit to our team within the PED committee that is constantly looking at and managing a significant amount of these projects as they develop. And it's wonderful to see the Caymount Hill upgrades as a part of our capital projects update. And knowing the amount of development and next part of our city is being developed as we speak is very exciting and hopeful to see. And that is all for our capital projects update, Your Worship. And that leaves us to the end of our committee update as well.
Well done, everybody. Thank you for all the committee updates tonight, and nice to see our community joining with us tonight for the check presentation. Do a quick roundtable, and I'm kind of going to do it according to where you sit. So if you're not physically in this meeting, we'll call you in the same order. Councillor Lane.
Thank you. Just a couple items for me. So the first one is we're getting to the time of year. Christmas will be approaching fastly. And the Salvation Army, they do a lot of good work for our community. And around this time of year, they start collecting donations at their kettle. And all the proceeds are used to help families in need in the community. And as always, they're looking for volunteers to sit at the kettle. So if anybody has any time to spare, please reach out to Linda Vincent at Salvation Army Mount Pearl if you'd like to take a shift at the kettle. I know I do so every year, and it's always something that's nice to do and certainly gives back to the community. And the second item for me is for the Mount Pearl Blades Minor Hockey. So the Mount Pearl Minor Hockey Association are accepting nominations for the 2025 Hockey Hall of Fame. The deadline for nominations is Friday, November 15th, which is this coming Friday. There are 3 different categories: player, builder, and official. If you would like to nominate someone, please contact Tana at tanamemha@gmail.com. And you can receive a nomination form online for that as well. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you much. Over to you, Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Oops. I have an unsteady table here, so if I'm jiggling, I apologize. The only thing I wanted to mention this evening is just to send some gratitude to Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador. We just recently attended the annual conference, and it's such a great opportunity to meet up with colleagues from other municipalities and share ideas and learn. And it was a really great conference, and I really enjoyed it. So just want to say thank you to Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador. Also, as part of the Women and Gender Equity Committee, there was a breakfast held, and our own Councillor Chelsea Lane was the recipient of an achievement award. So big congratulations to her, and for all the work that she's done municipally, specifically around breastfeeding for women and creating safe space and that type of thing. And it was acknowledged and well deserved. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Locke, please.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of mine have been covered already, but I do want to extend congratulations to my colleague to my right here, Councillor Lane, on the recipient of being the recipient of that recognition award. And you touched on it earlier, Mayor, but I just want to send again thanks out for the Remembrance Day Assembly. And it was so heartwarming this year. I know the weather has a lot to do with it, but over the last number of years, the number of youth that are attending these ceremonies, I think it's just wonderful to see. So it was a great event, a great turnout. And that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you much. Losing my voice. Over to you, Deputy Mayor Kiley.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just have 2 items. One is just a really good what should I say, incentive from the Mount Pearl Summit Center. We know that keeping fit and keeping active is so important in our community. It is absolutely integral to our mental health. and people of all ages I know participate in the Summit Center. So for anyone who hasn't already, we are inviting your journey to fitness with a 25% discount on 2025 gym memberships at the Summit Center. So you can certainly lock in your savings by December 31st and kick off the new year feeling strong and unstoppable, and don't wait for the future. We'll thank you. For anyone, it's a great opportunity. And I know that also the Summit Center is striving for inclusion around that. So there's so many people who can use this and make use of this. So the second one is my item is for a couple of entrepreneurs and incredible business community focused people that we are saying goodbye to in our community. And that is the I would like to say a big heartfelt to Mohammed Nazir and Ayafi Al-Tiaf, who had been running the Curry Delight restaurant for many years here in Mount Pearl. And if anyone knows, it is an incredibly popular, utilized, and community-focused business. And it certainly brought a diversity around what we think of as a mom and pop shop. And while I know they've been tremendously successful and they have certainly brought a need into my area of butter chicken and other delights. But more importantly, they chose Mount Pearl as a restaurant and as a new family, a new Canadian family to the province. It was heartwarming that they saw the value of bringing that work and that franchise to us. And much of that was also kind of the recipes of their family. And so it's incredibly special that we had the time. I thank them for their business. I wish them all the luck as they move into their next journey as a family, and I'm sure whatever it's going to be wonderful. And that is all for me, Your Worship.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and over to you, Councillor Antle.
Your Worship, I only had one, but now I have four. No, I'll keep it nice and quick. I'll just keep it nice and quick. One thing that Councillor Lane talked about was the Christmas carol. And if you don't have Linda's contact, I'll just give, if anybody of us, if you want to contact either one of our councillors or mayor, and leave your number, we'll pass it on to Linda. Linda's got a list going right now. It's one of the most fun things we all do all year. I think we all enjoy it. One thing for me is, and it comes up every year, it seems to be a lot about people who are taking their dogs for a walk. And it's bad enough on the trails that you don't pick up after your dog and people walk into it. But I got a call a little while ago. There was a park down on Point Bow Crescent. And it's fenced, but people are taking their dogs and let their dogs run wild in the park. And it's great because it's fenced. But, children are still playing in that park. Pick up after your dog. We supply the bags. The bags are free. And it's so annoying when a child's playing in the park and they got to walk into a dog feces. So please pick up after your dog if you're using it at one of our playgrounds. And that's everything for me, Your Worship. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Your Worship. A couple of items for me. The first one I want to mention is the City of Mount Pearl is relaunching our Hey Mount Pearl program coming up later this week. Basically what it is, we're encouraging everybody to go in. Once that's set up on site, we have a dedicated site for that. We're encouraging everyone, residents, to register. There's going to be a register link at the bottom, so you can go in and register and follow and participate in the engagement. So basically, the site is going to be designed for public engagement and a portal for us to hear directly from the residents on important initiatives. So it's we always made it a point to hear from our residents when we engaged in any part of the City of Mount Pearl on moving forward with certain plans. And the transportation plan, the municipal plan is no different. So that's going to be launched later this week, and we're looking forward to see how many people we can get on that site. The second one for me is I just want to make a comment. As being a councillor in the City of Mount Pearl, I noticed that we attend a lot of events in the city, and all councillors are pretty uniform. We attend a lot of events together. we show up, we support each other, and we support the community, and we certainly support every event that happens in the city. You know, we don't get to everything because of our schedules. You know, people are still working and small families and stuff like that, and sometimes we're out of town. But I've had a conversation with a couple of residents, and one resident mentioned to me about the Santa Claus parade coming up. And actually, I had this conversation with this resident, and the resident is Joan Windsor. Joan Windsor said, it's so nice to see all the council participating in the float and in the parade and walking through. It really shows how much you're involved as a council in the city of Mount Pearl. And I certainly agree with her. And she mentioned to me last year about the hockey jerseys that we got with our names on the back. She said, you're certainly identified. She said, but you should have a hat to go with it. So anyway, I reached out and I said, well, yeah, I agree. We should have a hat. So anyway, last week, Joan dropped off hats for every council member, all matching hats for the Santa Claus parade for the 7th of December. So I have the hats here tonight, and I'm going to present the hats to all of council. I'm going to present the hats to all of council, and I took sort of different sizes. We made a couple for girls with hair and stuff like that, so she took them into account. But anyway, I think she did a fabulous job. And I got no hair, neither have Bill, and all of them. I'm only speaking for me and Bill. But anyway, to make a long story short, we certainly appreciate Joan Windsor doing this for us. And I'm going to pass the hats out now to everybody.
After public, thank you, Councillor Rice. Anything else, sir?
No, that's it for me. Thank
All
you,
right.
Joan.
And I think that's the end of our roundtable. Nice looking hats. Geez, I want to get a couple more to put on my Christmas list. I have nothing really to add, but I did want to congratulate my colleagues and staff. We've been working really hard the last few weeks. We've a municipal plan review. There's sessions coming up. We have a hiring process for a new CAO. That's coming up end of the month and into December. And of course, we're working on the budget. So to all of you, thanks for your hard work and working together. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart as we close out the year. We have a lot of work to do. The next 2 months will seem like 6 months. But anyway, keep up the great work and hang in there. We're getting ready for 2025. Thanks, folks. And we are adjourned on a motion from Councillor Antle, seconded by Councillor Locke.